Yeah, hello. Welcome to another edition of Down by Two with your homeboy Josh Elijah and my right-hand man, Birdman, Jesse McKay. How you doing, baby?
What's going on, broski? Just
Hopefully,
getting amped up for this game, bro.
Fired up. Round 2, game 2 against the Florida Panthers. I hope you guys have been having a great week. Hopefully, you've been able to sleep off the game 1L that we took on Tuesday. But thanks so much for dropping in and checking us out here. Whatever platform that you're listening from or watching from right now. Obviously brought to you by the good old boys over at Yup Beer. Visit yupbeer.com to find a location near you. Now available, get this, in the beer store. What? In the beer store? Find a beer store location near you, so you can get yourself. Finally,
yeah.
they're in the beer store.
Moving up.
And if they're only $1.85 a can, I mean that's pretty cheap. And then now you can get 2 4s in the beer store, so that price point even gets lower. So go find yourself a beer store near you. Yupbeer.com for different locations as well. And obviously from our team over at Crier Media, visit crier.co for all things DB2, articles by yours truly, and all other sports and news content as well. I'll be getting into that in a minute. But here we are, game 2 for the second round of playoffs, as the Leafs are down 1-0 to start off the series. We'll definitely get into that. And as the game is about to start in a few minutes, we figured that we would give you a special little episode here where it's some pregame reactions and talking a little bit about the game 1 loss. And then we're going to jump on to record our post-game reactions as well and kind of break down some of the analysis from post-game coverage as well. But first and foremost, before we do that, we got a couple of different things that we want to announce and share with you. We're doing a bit of a retool, a little reset of the deck, and going to do a bit of rebranding too. It's been 2 years, Birdman, 2 years.
Doesn't feel
doing
like
this.
Honestly, it feels like yesterday.
It literally has just kind of flown by. Obviously, we took a few months off to deal with some stuff. But we figured that no time better than now than to kind of just rebrand a little bit, give ourselves a fresh look, and also a fresh sort of outlook on the way that we are tackling episodes. So we decided to just make things a bit easier. We've had our long form episode podcast with some of those incredible guests that we've had in the past, and then followed by our DB2 Bet show. But that is no more. We are going to be combining and condensing the two, amalgamating the two. Look at that word.
Wow.
Amalgamation.
All these sports terms. I love it. Retool, amalgamate.
Yeah, amalgamate. Yeah, and so we figured that it might be just easier for us, first and foremost, and for our listeners as well, just keep track. One show every week, Friday mornings, coming out. And we're gonna still take those interviews that we have from across the broadcasting world and different professional athletes and friends, family, the works. Literally anybody could drop in on any week. So that's the way that we're gonna kind of roll from here on out. We have those interviews combined with DB2 bets. So we're going to be talking about some of our picks for Fridays and Saturdays and for the weekend to come as well. And just kind of keep things a little bit more current, because at the end of the day, we want to talk about topical shit as well, along with some of those featured interviews. So I don't know, Bert, what do you think? Does that sound like a plan? Like a plan fan?
Yeah, I like that it gives us that chance to talk about things that are more current, more relevant, right? Like,
Yeah.
We've had interviews just in the bank for weeks, months, saving it up, and we would just record our intros and outros on the spot right before we drop it. But
Yeah.
now we just kind of get to stay in the moment with this format.
Well, I mean, when you really think about it, you look at some of the people that we've had on the show, like Jack Armstrong and Shane Corson, and any of the guys from like Sportsnet as well, and TSN. You have Duthie on the show. Just some of these heavy hitters that we've had on in the past. It would be great to have them on and talk about current affairs before we have to go into the lab to do all of this editing and stuff. We're just going to streamline things, make it as easy as possible, because it's a lot. It's a lot to take care of two different shows, and then all of the editing, all of the magic that you make happen on the back end as well. Now that we're on Crier Media and we have different tools that are available to us throughout the network, it's just going to make things so much easier and just put everything together into one hell of a show. So that's kind of our take on that. So that's what we're going to do, and it gives us opportunities to do a little reaction episode, kind of like what we're doing right now. So as you're listening to this, we are moments away from starting Game 2 against the Panthers. But first, let's talk about how we got here and losing that first game. I mentioned Crier Media and Crier.co and how you can check out any articles that I've written in the past. I posted one on Tuesday, and let me tell you, it's gotten a bit of traction, and we've actually been able to monitor the activity on this, and a lot of fans were telling me to calm the hell down when it comes to this take. Look, I understand it may look a little clickbaity, but I think I have some pretty valid points when it comes to this, because I did not think that we played up to the best of our ability on that Tuesday game, on that series opener. Bird, give it to me straight. You're my homie. I know I can always count on you. Am I overreacting when I say that we did not play very well, or as well as we could have, obviously, against the Florida Panthers? And are we in trouble when it comes to this matchup against Florida, as opposed to our matchup against the Tampa Bay Lightning?
Look, I'll just say this. You had this take before the series even started. So this isn't even like a hot reactionary take, in my opinion. This is just straight facts. And people are getting upset about it because I think they're nervous. Like, at the end of the day, like, it was game 1. I feel like there was a lot of jitters. Again, it's almost like what are we doing here? How do we do this? It's like
Right. We haven't.
that's gonna
This is
that's
uncharted
that's gonna
territory that we
calm down.
haven't seen in
Yeah,
2 decades.
I feel like the crowd almost felt like that at certain points
Sure.
because they were so quiet, and it was just like, what do we do? Like,
Yeah. No kidding.
it's like, cheer, okay. Um, but yeah, you you pulled this point like well before the series started. You said,
Thank you.
look,
Yes.
Florida is hot right now, and I almost don't want the Leafs to play them because they have so much momentum. And I was like, yeah, like, I think we beat them 3-1 in the regular season, so, like, I don't know, they, like, barely squeaked in, whatever. Like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not too worried. Game 1, it was like, okay, yeah, there's a reason these guys are here. Like, um, they're a solid team, but game 1, it was just, I think it was a lot of unpreparedness. Um, and they're obviously going to game plan and be better for it. And I'm expecting a much better performance in game 2.
I mean, so just even when it comes to Florida, or like after we won Game 6 in Tampa, and then you go and you see this. We want Florida! We want Florida! We want Florida! We want Florida! Like, shut the hell up, Leafs fans. Like, that's not the reaction that I was looking for whatsoever. I mean, like, I did not want any piece of this team. They're way too hot, coming off down 3-1 to the Bruins, to the historic season that the Bruins had.
Those are kids that look at, like, the regular season record, and they're like, oh, that's like, it was pretty mid,
Yeah.
realistically. I think, at first glance, you're like, oh, like, we shouldn't have a tough time against those guys, but yeah, you gotta watch the games, people. Like, they handled Boston. Like, they went down early, but they embarrassed Boston. Like, if I was on Boston right now, if I was Patrice Bergeron, I'd be like, yeah, I'm out of there. I'm done.
Yeah, no, I absolutely. I mean, hey, look, it's. I feel like the key reasons as to why we ended up going down in game one, I would say, would be obviously just game management. I mean, when we ended up giving up that breakaway goal to Carter Verhaeghe, that was just because our defense was completely out of position. So I don't think I think just some simple game management will be um, will go a long way when it comes to the Leafs. I don't think. I mean, we definitely had our power play chances. It's just going to take a couple, a lot more of that as well, just to get your rhythm back again. But all it takes is just a couple more bounces to go our way. I didn't think we played horribly, but a lot of Leafs fans are saying it's just like, oh yeah, no, we definitely outplayed them. This just didn't go our way. Bobrovsky's too hot. It was just like, yeah, but you need to be able to game plan for that, and because you're out of position on some of these plays. And because you couldn't contain Kachuk as well, who has been feeding players because everyone has been overcompensating for him. But it's also like his physicality has been crazy as well too. 9 hits in game one. Like you don't expect that from a winger. Like it's absolutely crazy. So, I mean, with all of those things taken into account, I think that we might be underprepared for this matchup against Florida. At least that's what it looked like from game one. So going into game two, these are things that you really want to be able to tighten up on before the series starts to get away, because you go down 2-0 from at home uh, to Florida. It's yeah. Then you're going back. Then you're going back on their home ice. I mean, that could be it could be trouble. So a lot of things to really look forward to moving into tonight's game. Speaking of which, we are going to be giving you a couple of our insights when it comes to ding, 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 DB2 bets, which is brought to you by our boys over at BetStamp. Visit betstamp.app for all things betting lines. Make sure that you check out the app, download the app in the App Store, and find the best odds across all the different sports books. Couple quick picks here before we jump into the game. We have our first one. I think Austin Matthews anytime goal. That's even odds, and that's available on Pinnacle. Do you like this bird? Do you think Austin breaks out with his first goal of the series here?
Yeah. Can you hear me? First off,
I can hear you.
okay.
I can hear
There we
you.
go.
Yeah.
Beauty.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I'm feeling good about it. He was like one of our best players, if not our best player from the last series. Close second to Morgan Riley, I would say. And I think he's gonna step up. I mean, he kind of has to. So, yeah, I think they're gonna game plan for Kachuk, and he won't be as much of a factor bodying these guys. So, I'm feeling good about that one for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, like it's time. The boys got to step up today. He had a lot of shot attempts in the first game. I believe it was 5 or 6.
Dude, he
So
had
the
like 3 goals. He basically had 3 goals that Bobrovsky just stole. So,
yeah, yeah,
like
a
any
couple
other
posts
day, they're
too.
going in.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
So
and that's also the other thing too, is that Bobrovsky can't stay this hot. He's been hot and cold all year, and his hot streaks
his
end.
whole
And
career, he's been hot and cold, dude.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
that's that's how he operates.
absolutely.
One
So
year
I mean,
he's sweeping the Tampa Bay Lightning President's Trophy, and then he's getting outplayed by his backup the next year.
yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
that's just how it goes.
Moving right along here, let's. I like this one that you got as well. Our second pick that we're throwing in here is Ryan O'Reilly anytime points. I got to make sure that I have these recorded in my app. Here we go on Betano as well. Betano, great sports book, -133 are the best odds out there. So I would highly suggest checking them out as well. Great book. Tell me what your thoughts are behind this anytime point.
um, I think you went out and you got the Selke winner, the playoff MVP for a reason, and it's for moments like this. It's to set the tone and it's to play your heart out. And I think he is going to lead by example. I mean, he used to be captain. Um, yeah, I don't know. I think this is the kind of guy that steps up in a moment like this. So I'm thinking this is safe because it can be an assist or a goal. But I think he gets on the score sheet nonetheless.
Absolutely. Love it. Love it. we were thinking Riley or O'Reilly. I think this is going to be a big bounce back for him. So we're taking O'Reilly anytime point right there. And finally, we're going to throw in a Florida Panther prop as well. Brandon Montour has just been on an absolute tear. Over 2.5 shots on goal. That's been hitting easily. And it's been. I'm surprised that it's at 2.5 right now. Is because Kachuk has been so heavily covered as well. It's been opening up a lot of opportunities for other players like Brandon Montour. So there we have it, -133, and that's also available on Betano. So check out that sports book, and you can check them all out again on BetStamp. So make sure you download the app and use promo code DB2 when you sign up for that referral. But without further ado, the game is just about to start. Let's get into it. Leafs, Panthers, game 2, round 2. Let's get it, boys.
Let's
We'll catch you
see if
back on the
these
other
hit.
side.
Let's go.
Ooh! Well, what did I tell you? What did I tell you? Here we are at the end of game 2. Leafs lose 3-2. My tarps off. Took that shit off pretty much in the second when I'm just like, this is ridiculous. A lot to unpack there. Leafs go down 2-0 at home as now they head over to Florida for the next 2 games. The game literally just finished here, so let's just get some of your initial reactions. Birdman, talk to me, man. Talk to me what you saw out there.
I mean the first period looked really good. They were flying. I feel like both teams were really physical. Like you could tell there was a major coaching adjustment. Like I, they must have been like, we're gonna get hammered all series, so we got to dish it back, kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Both teams giving like crazy huge hits,
Yeah,
which I
big time.
liked. They're responding to the physicality, right? And
Yeah, they had to pick up the pace and pick up the intensity as well because, again,
yeah,
like that's something that I mentioned before is that Florida is a very physical team. I mean, when you have
they're
Gudas and
physical and fast.
you have Gudas that like over 300 hits throughout the entire season, and then you have Kachuk who could lay out 9 hits for like that's insane. That we were talking about in the first game, but yeah, sorry, continue. I'm just fucking fired
No,
up
I
right now.
know. Yeah. So they go up 2-0 quickly, and you're thinking like, oh, like they obviously figured it out. They're coming out flying, lane
Yeah,
hits. Like this is exactly what we needed in the last game that like was lacking. And yeah, I just find like I don't know. I noticed that like when they get a lead or they're playing well, they take their foot off the gas like
mm-hmm.
almost immediately. And I saw that happen in the first period, and it led to a Florida goal. And I
By
was just
Lundell.
like, yeah, it's just like, why do they do this? Like, you know what you have to do, and then you come out, you get the lead, and then you're just kind of like, oh, we got this. And it's like that's not how playoffs work, man. Like you have to have your foot on the gas at all times, and I feel like that's how the game slipped away from them. And then factor that with the fact that like you can't buy a goal right now. Like
No,
one
no,
thing
you
I
can't.
noticed is Florida is really good at clogging the D zone with bodies. Like
Oh,
they
big
al-
time.
they always have this like wall around Bobrovsky, and then you factor that with Bobrovsky playing like Vesna Bobrovsky right now, and it's just
2-time Vesna Bobrovsky.
yeah, and it's just like you can't buy a goal right now. Like
No,
then
everyone on
we're
that team
getting
has
chances.
blocks, and everyone is clogging the lane. You're absolutely right. And you look at the amount of saves. I mean, Bobrovsky's still he's playing like a madman, like 34 saves on 36 shots. And then you're looking at the blocks as well. Like everybody on their team is chipping in on blocks and just playing super physical as well. Yeah, he's playing incredible right now. But again, I I go back to exactly the same issues that I saw in game 1, and it's poor game management. You go to the second period, and they quickly tie it up, a couple goals back to back, and that is from turnovers off the face off and an open ice. Turnovers lead to goals, and like that is exactly we saw. We saw that happen over and over again. We saw that the poor game management in game one, and it's just again in game two. And when you make those mistakes, Florida is a fucking fantastic team. They're going to capitalize. Like it's that simple. It was a broken play that ended up leading to that Barkov goal.
Mm-hmm. A lot of missed passes, abandoned forechecks, just sloppy, lackadaisical play.
And
Like they're
and
just kind of floating out there.
Florida is great on the forecheck. So
They
like
love that.
how do you expect to win? It's insanity. I really I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Like the Leafs just cannot. They could not catch up after those two quick goals, three unanswered goals, and Forsling with the game winner. Forsling doesn't like it's.
Yeah. And like they got completely undressed on that play too. Like they were not in that play whatsoever. And yeah, you got a guy like Forsling just bare that
Yeah,
kind of stuff is like inexcusable at the end of the day.
absolutely. Absolutely. And I mean, like, hey, it ended up leading to a 3-2 win for the Florida Panthers. That's the game winning goal. Um, I noticed something that I noticed in this game is that, like, especially in the last couple times, and even in the first series as well, is that we always have such a hard time getting it in the zone when we're on the power play and advancing it over the blue line. But other teams, it seems like they can get it in our end with ease. Like I don't understand. It's really frustrating to watch. I mean, the Leafs again did have their chances. I got to give them credit. They definitely did have their chances. They've outshot Florida in this series by a significant margin for both games. Um, I don't know where the disconnect is. Like like again, Bobrovsky is playing like he's playing out of his mind. He's red hot. He hasn't strung together 5 wins in a row all season long, let
Mm-hmm.
alone in the playoffs to finish off the Bruins and then two to open up here in Toronto. That is
Well,
huge.
dude, he had his starting role taken away from him at one point
To Lion,
by the
yeah,
Lion. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like
and
guy's just playing out of his mind right now.
he was always battling for it with Knight over the regular season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man, it's pretty crazy, and he's playing like the vet that he is. There's been a lot of chances, um, a lot of shots that open shots. Like when you look at McCabe, I know he's not a shooter, but there's some chances. Like he did take his shot from the point, but he also they're passing up easy shots sometimes just to be able to pass it to someone else who might score. But that's where the pressure's on. The pressure's on Matthews in the slot. So I
You got to
I don't
just
know.
get it on net.
Get it on
We
fucking
saw
net.
that with Tampa. Like you just get it on net, and something can happen, right? That's you bang in the rebound, something like
Anything.
if you don't shoot, like nothing's gonna happen, and it's probably gonna lead to a sloppy turnover. Like we see that with Nylander and Marner,
Mm-hmm.
and like these guys that just love to make these behind the back passes or no look passes, and think that like this kind of regular season play is gonna fly in the playoffs. Like no, it's not. Like it's literally like playoffs turns into the most simple hockey. Like just play the game it's supposed to be played, and good things happen.
Um, yeah, it's I you know I don't want to say that I didn't feel as confident going into this game. I mean, like I said it in the piece that I wrote and then on the show earlier today. Um, all around it's like Florida is just not they're not a team that I think that we match up as well against as opposed to Tampa, and we've been able to game plan for Tampa. um, Florida, I feel like we've underestimated them. And Leafs fans, everyone who's been chirping me about saying, oh, we played well game one, it's fine, we're going to take game two, nah, not the story. Not the
Mm-hmm.
story, bruh. Like it's frustrating to watch this team, and we're messaging each other throughout the game. Frustrating. It's hard to watch.
Well,
And
dude,
again,
look at it this way: like we we've known that the Leafs were gonna play Tampa for like 2 months at least.
Yeah,
Like you had all that time to game plan for it, and it's like, well, now what? Like I feel like Florida was one of those teams you kind of just took lightly in those regular season games because they were having a
yeah,
a mediocre season, and now it's at this point where they're just like flying with all this confidence, and you've got this Vesna caliber goalie, and like there's no answer right now.
absolutely.
And like after game one, I was like, yeah, they played great, and we'll game plan, we'll figure it out. I literally said that in the first half of this, um,
Yeah,
and I wasn't worried. But seeing game two, it's like, man, we're in trouble. The team is in trouble.
you're in
Sorry,
deep doo.
I don't play for the team, but the team is in trouble.
Yes, yes. It's like you're heading to Florida now for 2 games. I mean, that was your chance to win one on home ice. Now you're down 2-0. And so I mean, like, sure, you can go and steal a game, but if you don't win both, I mean, you're down 3-1, and it doesn't matter about home ice
Yeah.
anymore. It doesn't matter. You've lost it completely. So
Mm-hmm.
it's yeah, hit the panic button a fucking little bit, Leafs fans, a little bit,
Now,
because this is exactly what I was afraid of. It's all coming into fruition, and people are calling me crazy. Like, I don't know, man. This is exactly what I was afraid of, and I called it. I hate to say I told you so, but I man, I couldn't bring myself to actually hit the Florida Panthers on the money line. But what I actually did is I took the under in game. When they went up 2-0, I took the under 7.5 goals, and I'm like, things are going to slow down, and it's not going to be in our favor. And lo and behold, total points 5. Um,
so is Florida a low scoring team? Like, has that been a statistic? Like, I don't like. I've been wondering about hammering the under as well, because game one, I bet the over. It hit, but I took 5.5, obviously. So
right.
now I'm wondering, is like, obviously as the games go on in a series, things get more tighter defensively. So kind of the norm moving forward, right? These kind of low
Yeah.
scoring games.
I mean, I think they're pretty much middle of the pack from what I'm looking at over here. I think the under, I mean, it seems to be the play 6.5. I mean, it would have hit regardless with
Mm-hmm.
6.5, which was the opening line. But yeah, I ended up taking them mid game. Always like if teams start off on a hot start in the first period, sports books always seem to
They bump it up.
blast up like crazy. I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
I caught the Oilers game at like a 10 or 11 and a
Oh
half, and I'm just like, bruh, like there's no way we're gonna be hitting these. Like, the teams are gonna calm down in the second.
yeah.
It's to hammer the under on that. Speaking of which, we should have hammered hammered the under, especially on this one. Austin Matthews again scoreless.
Oh man,
That bet ended up
he
losing.
had some
He
great
had his chances.
chances.
He had his chances, man. Just like game one too, he put a lot
Man,
of shots on net. And in this game as well, he ended up putting 5 shots on net again. So
you got to think like one of those is gonna go in. It's Austin friggin' Matthews. Like
yeah, yeah.
it's
But
just
it won't matter unless we actually start, play like managing the game properly, and these costly turnovers, especially in open ice, it's resulted in goals every time. So
yeah.
Austin Matthews did not hit, but our other ones did. Right and early in the first, with Ryan O'Reilly, anytime point, actually getting the goal on that would have been a sweeter return. I saw that at
Mm-hmm.
plus 400 on some books, so
Oh,
that would have been nice. But
that's sweet
we played it safe with anytime point, and it ended up working out for us. And Brandon Montour also hitting the over
for
on
tour.
shots on goal for Tour Montour. Ends up hitting the over with 4 shots on goal. That is one that I will continue to hammer until the line ends up moving a bit more than that. That being said, thoughts. Let's talk about game 3 now. You got a game plan. We don't play till Sunday. Let's take a
The
look at what we
schedule
have.
is so stupid too. Like You don't play till Sunday, and then I think the
Sunday.
next game after that is like Wednesday or Thursday or something like that. Like
Yeah, Wednesday. Yeah, so they got a couple days, a lot of rest here, a lot of time to.
like hello, like if there's anything that's gonna work in our favor, it might be that, to halt any kind of momentum that Florida
Absolutely.
has right now. Like,
Yeah, absolutely. But let's take a look at what we have here for lines brought to you by BetStamp as well. Again, visit the BetStamp app and use promo code DB2 for all referral bonuses to be able to sign up to any of the sports books that are available through BetLink. And take advantage of those sweet, sweet sign up bonuses. As we look, it's a little bit too far out for player props right now. But as we're looking, it looks pretty freaking even right now. Do you take the Leafs on the money line? Are we talking over unders here? I'm not taking the spread. That's for damn sure. Do you feel confident in throwing on the Leafs money line? Are they going to bounce back in Game 3 here?
well, here's the bigger question: is the Leaf fan population in Florida, like, are they gonna make a huge difference in the arena? Like,
If they have a Florida
for some
address,
for some reason, I feel like, well, no, that was only the first 24 hours. You could buy tickets after
oh,
that.
you can now. Okay,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
thought they were restricting. Okay,
It's just 24 hours, which was just like, man, if you're gonna do that, just go all the way with it and stick with it. Like, come on.
yeah.
But I just feel like there maybe that crowd might be more rowdy than the Toronto crowd. Am I
Could
crazy for
be.
thinking that?
No, no, no. And to have some sort of presence in Tampa would be huge as well. It just doesn't seem like we can win at home.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it happened in yeah, that went like that in the Tampa series
Tampa.
as
You
well,
won.
right?
You got the 7-2 win in Game 2, and that was
Mm-hmm.
it.
That was it.
They couldn't win at home. So is this the game that you take it while the odds are pretty much even as we're looking here? Basically, I mean, if minus 110, that ain't bad. And you're getting basically even money with Florida. So do you take the Leafs on the bounce back here? Um,
I think you have to,
I think you
right?
have to, as the
You
Leafs
have
fan,
to.
you have to.
But not
Um,
only that, it's like if you lose this game, like it's over. And I feel like they're they're gonna go into that game with that mentality, right? Like
mhm,
you have to win that game, otherwise it is over. So
absolutely.
I would take it if there's one to take it. Um, for them, I would it would be this game.
Either take it on North Star Bets or Bet Rivers as well. We're going to take it on Bet Rivers because we have an account with them. So hell,
Mhm.
why not take that on the tracker? Be
I
able
think I
to.
emptied my bankroll on that one on the Kevin Durant to Toronto bet that popped up.
Oh my goodness! Oh
Oh
man,
man.
that's
Hey, the
hilarious.
odds were great for
They
that one.
were. They were. And then moving forward, are we going to take the over or the under on that game? We seem to
Hmm.
like the unders on this low, at least below 6.5 for
If
each of
it's
the
six and
games.
a half, I guess you kind of have to take the under, right?
Look who it is again. It's our boys over at Batano.
Yeah.
So we're going to end up taking them on the under at plus 127 available on Batano. Again, visit betstamp.app /Ontario and use referral code DB2 for all things sports betting related and open up your new sports book based on the referral codes. So there you have it. Our first ever pre and post game reaction. A bit of a different tone first half to
Yeah.
second half.
I was
But
I was
we
pumped earlier.
pumped, yeah, and then now I'm just pissed.
Yeah.
I went from
From
pumped to
pump to
pissed,
piss.
pissed. Um, as Leafs fans should be. But hey,
Yeah.
I told you so. I told you so. Listen to Jish. Um,
Hey, we're used to this.
we're used to this. Jeez, Louise. Again, coming out with episodes every Friday. So thank you again for tuning in. Shout out to our boys over at Crier Media. Visit crier.co for more bullshit articles like this. Because
Yeah,
apparently
more wrong articles.
more wrong articles. And then also shout out to our boys over at Yup Beer. Visit yupbeer.com to find a location near you, and now available in the beer store. But for Josh, Elijah, and Birdman as well, see you again next week. We got a bunch of fun stuff coming in down the pipeline. Go Leafs, go! I guess we're going to be having a different conversation this time next week. So talk to you then. Have yourselves a great week. Stay safe out there.
Cheers.
Peace.